It has been a decade since Felipe VI ascended to the Spanish throne, a transition marked less by ceremony than by damage control. In 2014, Spain's monarchy teetered under the weight of scandal. Former King Juan Carlos's financial controversies and personal missteps had corroded public trust. The crown's image was battered, and Republican sentiment was gaining momentum. A decade later, Spain's monarchy is still fragile, yet there are signs of renewal. At the center of this delicate balancing act are King Felipe VI, a monarch who has deliberately embraced austerity and discretion, and his daughter, Princess Leonor, whose youth, training, and symbolism are being deployed to rebrand the institution for the 21st century. Polls reveal a nation divided. Surveys conducted over the past 2 years suggest that around 58% of Spaniards support the monarchy, while about 33% prefer a republic. Yet those figures mask stark generational and regional splits. Among older citizens and conservative voters, the monarchy remains a bastion of stability. Among the young and in regions such as Catalonia and the Basque Country, Republican sentiment runs stronger. What is striking, though, is that Felipe VI consistently polls higher than political leaders. In some surveys, he has achieved ratings of 6.6 out of 10, outstripping prime ministers and opposition chiefs. This suggests a paradox. Spaniards distrust the institution, but many still respect the man who embodies it. Felipe VI's approach has been to shrink the monarchy's footprint. Gone are the extravagances associated with his father. Felipe cut his own salary, placed the royal family's budget under parliamentary scrutiny, and prohibited members of the royal household from engaging in lucrative business deals. Transparency became his watchword. His appearances are carefully choreographed, less about glamour, more about duty. When wildfires devastated parts of Spain this summer, Felipe and Queen Letizia were photographed meeting firefighters and evacuees. Their message was quiet but intentional. The monarchy exists not above the people, but alongside them. Yet Felipe knows this strategy can only go so far. Scandals are not easily forgotten. Polls consistently show that memories of Juan Carlos's fall from grace continue to color public perception. For the monarchy to survive, it cannot rely on Felipe's restraint alone. It must project a future. That future is embodied in the figure of Princess Leonor, the 19-year-old heir to the throne. Her coming of age has coincided with a concerted effort to elevate her public profile. In October 2023, she swore an oath of allegiance to the Constitution on her 18th birthday, a moment broadcast live across Spain. The symbolism was deliberate. A young woman, untainted by scandal, pledging herself to the democratic framework of the nation. It was an image of renewal, and perhaps redemption. Leonor's subsequent enrollment in military training has reinforced this narrative. Photographs of her in uniform, undergoing the same rigorous drills as her peers, have circulated widely in Spanish media. Commentators have dubbed the phenomenon, Leonormania, a fascination that blends admiration with curiosity. Crucially, Leonor is not portrayed as distant royalty. Reports emphasize her discipline, humility, and ordinariness. This contrasts sharply with Juan Carlos's ostentation, and even with the aloof grandeur once associated with European monarchies. Polls suggest this strategy is working. Surveys conducted after Leonor's oath ceremony showed a modest uptick in support for the monarchy. Among younger Spaniards, the demographic most skeptical of royalty, Leonor enjoys higher personal approval ratings than the institution itself. Still, the balance remains precarious. Republican voices argue that cosmetic changes cannot erase structural flaws. Left-wing parties often point to the monarchy's lack of accountability and democratic legitimacy. In Catalonia, where separatist sentiment intertwines with republicanism, Leonor's rising profile has done little to alter skepticism. But Leonor's image may be buying time. By presenting the monarchy as disciplined, service-oriented, and future-focused, the royal household is creating space for Spaniards to reconsider its role. Spain's monarchy is unusual. It was restored in 1975, after Franco's dictatorship, as part of a democratic transition. Juan Carlos was initially hailed as a stabilizer who defended democracy during the attempted coup of 1981. But decades later, the scandals of his reign became a reminder of how fragile public trust can be. For Felipe and Leonor, this history is both a burden and a lesson. Their project is not simply to preserve tradition but to reinvent it. That explains the calculated austerity, the embrace of constitutional rituals, and the spotlight on service rather than privilege. Looking ahead, can the crown survive? The monarchy's future in Spain may well depend on whether this father-daughter tandem can hold public trust. Felipe provides stability and restraint, while Leonor offers the promise of generational change. Together, they are presenting a monarchy that is quieter, leaner, and more aligned with democratic values. Yet the structural pressures remain. Polls show that support for a republic could grow, especially if economic crises deepen or political polarization intensifies. The monarchy, like Spain itself, is caught between competing identities, tradition and modernity, unity and regional autonomy, monarchy and republicanism. For now, Leonor represents the strongest card the monarchy can play. She is a symbol of continuity without the baggage of the past. Each appearance, each oath, each act of service becomes part of a narrative designed to salvage the crown. Spain's monarchy has walked to the edge of collapse before. A decade after Felipe VI's succession, it is still negotiating its survival. The strategy is clear: austerity, transparency, service, and above all, Leonor. Whether this will be enough remains uncertain. But for now, the image of a young woman in military uniform, saluting alongside her peers, offers Spaniards a glimpse of a monarchy that is not yet ready to fade into history.